important and why we're so honored to have the governor here and continue to come back. You know, Governor, you promised that you would not forget about our city and the cities of New Jersey. You came and you visited before you ran, while you ran, and you continue to come back. Thank you so very much.
Honored to be here. I think with that, we're hearing from Assemblyman Gary Scher, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Passaic.
Thank you, Governor. And let me reiterate the kind words of Mayor Laura. We are so flattered and honored to have you here, Governor, to be joined by my legislative colleagues, Senator Sarlo, and our newest member of the General Assembly of the State of New Jersey, Assemblyman Calabrese, as well as our council members here and members of the Board of Education. As the Mayor said so wonderfully well, so appropriately,
there is in the state. I can say that with conviction because I'm up and down the state every day. So Senator Sarlo, Assemblyman Scher, and I just called him the youngest guy on the rodeo, Clint Calabrese, who's the youngest legislator in New Jersey and a really gifted, outstanding public servant. So it's an honor to be with you in addition to the mayor and his team. We're also joined today by brothers and sisters from both organized labor as well as some of the most important progressive groups in our state. And so it's an honor to have you with us today. Minimum wage and earned sick leave, by the way, which I think of at least as twinned realities, is not abstract, as we're going to hear from 5 particular cases in a few moments. You know, people say to me all the time, what's the magic of $15? And my reply is, what's the magic of $8.60, which is what it is today. It was $8.44 until about 40 days ago. If you do the math and you assume that you've got 2 household incomes and you've got 2 dependents, even at $15, you're scratching at the 21st century definition of poverty, which is folks would basically, I think almost universally put somewhere 200 to 250% of the definition of poverty from the mid-1960s. And contrary to some myths that are repeated often, this isn't just a teenager phenomenon. I think 80 or 90% or more of folks who would be impacted by a shift in the minimum wage are over the age of 20, so not teenagers. It is disproportionately a women's issue. The disproportionate amount of folks impacted and potentially benefited by a more enlightened reality in this state would be women. And you know, the notion of a sticker shock going from $8.60 on a Monday to $15 tomorrow on a Tuesday, we accept is not realistic, which is why I think most of the legislative, and I'll let them speak for themselves, most of the legislative discussion and work has been in the arena of a phased-in increase in this, which I support as a sensible way to approach it. But this is pass-fail, in my opinion. And earned sick leave, by the way, the myths that surround earned sick leave are equally as false and yet are propagated. It does the opposite of what the folks who are against it would suggest. The folks who are against it suggest that it hits at the morale in the workplace. The reality is the opposite, the absolute opposite. If you feel confident that if you're sick and you can't show up for work, that you're not going to lose your job, you actually have more conviction, more passion, higher engagement in your work. And so for all the above reasons, I'm extraordinarily honored to be opening the week in this extraordinary community, Mayor, with you and your leadership team and these extraordinary legislators, and most importantly, some individuals who are living this day in and day out. I wondered if I could ask Ricardo Perez to say a few words on his personal situation. Great to be with you, Ricardo. Bless you.
Mi nombre es Ricardo Pérez. Vengo de la ciudad de Patterson, del estado de New Jersey. Y soy padre de familia.
Hello everyone, my name is Ricardo Perez and I am representing the city of Patterson and I am a father.
Venimos para tratar de que nos ayuden a unar esfuerzos para los más beneficios para los trabajadores del Estado completo en la factoría.
I am here representing working families. I am a worker and I am here because I want to let you know that we should benefit from these benefits that workers should be allowed to get.
Aunque en mi ciudad recientemente se aprobó por ley el beneficio de los días de enfermedad, los empleadores no están informando a los trabajadores de que tienen ese beneficio. A ver de qué manera podamos dar esfuerzo para que el empleador se vea en la obligación de poder informar a los trabajadores de ese beneficio.
Even though in our city we are supposed to have paid sick days, employers are not letting employees know about this benefit. And I'm here to find out how we can collaborate, to teach and let the employees know that they can benefit from these paid sick days.
Principalmente, que ya el gobernador se refirió a este tema sobre el mínimo de los 15, en virtud de que la canasta familiar cada día aumenta y los salarios no alcanzan para suplir las necesidades básicas de una familia en el estado de New Jersey.
As the governor mentioned, raising the minimum wage to $15 will help because even we don't make enough money, we cannot pay for our groceries, we cannot pay in order to survive.
Gracias a todas las autoridades de nuestro estado por recibirnos y esperamos que ellos colaboren con nosotros. Gracias, pase buen día.
Thank you to all the authorities and elected officials for giving us a chance to speak here.
Thank you, Ricardo.
You're welcome.
Senator Paul Sarlo, great to be with you this morning.
Thank you, Governor. First, let me congratulate Ricardo here for his remarks and his courage to come forward and represent folks he works with here in the city of Passaic. So I commend you for stepping forward and have the courage to come forward. I will just say this, Governor, and I have to remark on this quickly. Clinton, I can remember when Tom Kaine and I came into the Assembly 18 years ago. We were the youngest at the point in time. We're now a little bit seasoned veterans, so we have to rely a little bit more on a curveball and a changeup because our fastball's slipping a little bit. But we'll have to rely on some other pitches to get us through the days. But Gary and I look forward to working with you, Clint. Governor, to you, I think it's amazing your commitment to this issue from day one. Before you even declared yourself a candidate, you never wavered. It's very easy for candidates to waver throughout the process. You never wavered. You put a number out there, and you stuck with it all the way through. And you should be commended for that, your convictions on this issue.
Thank you.
You should be commended because it's very easy for those who are running for office to waver on issues of this, and you never wavered, and it just talks about who you are and what you mean and what you will mean to the working people of our state. So I want to commend you on that.
Thank you.
And as the budget chairman, I look forward to working with you of how we get there. How do we get to that $15? I look forward to working with you on striking the right delicate balance as the budget chairman. And again, to my colleagues here in Passaic City, it's always a pleasure to be here. Your city gets impacted. We need to make sure they get the right wage so they can support their families, to make sure they get the right living wage. And as Gary said, not the minimum wage, the right living wage to support their families and their children. So I look forward to working with the governor to make sure we get this right.
Thank you, Senator. I think, Natalie, you're up next. Natalie Hoffman, thank you for being here.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Natalie Hoffman. I'm a member of CWA Local 1031. I work as a library assistant at the Rutherford Public Library. And, sorry, what can I say? We could really use $15 an hour. Personally, I came back to New Jersey after having been elsewhere, and I was unemployed and underemployed for about 7 years. And even though we make nice money at the Rutherford Library, not quite 15, but not 870, if I didn't have family, I would be on the street. I had a $240 car repair 2 weeks ago. I had negative $7 in my bank account for a week, praying that nothing bad would happen.
God bless you.
I think we provide a vital community service at the library. We help students of all ages. We help people get on their email, fill out applications for everything they do, get benefits, find jobs. For people who don't use computers, like the elderly, we help them find doctors and lawyers on the internet and all that sort of fun stuff. And I know there are a lot of people at the library in maybe a similar situation to I am, single women, working single mothers. So thank you.
Natalie, thank you. Did you say you left the state and came back?
I was in North Carolina for about 8 years. And, you know, in New Jersey, I think that the average rent is, we're one of the 10 highest of cost of living and renting states in the country. And New Jersey is like, I think it was like $1,200 a month for 2012 to 2016. And Bergen County was even higher, it was like $1,380 a month. So if you don't make, I think it's like $27 an hour, you can't afford to, you know, have a one-bedroom apartment without spending. I think it's 30% of your salary is supposed to be for housing. And if I think you need to work, I think I read it's like 70 hours at minimum wage to have an apartment, which is, you know, even two people working for $870 can't have an apartment, and you know.
It makes the point that $15 is hardly heroic, even when
well,
we get there.
$15 would be a lot better.
It's a lot better than we are now, but it doesn't necessarily solve all our ills, right? By the way, I've heard a lot from the librarians the past week. We did an executive order on net neutrality, and librarians were strongly in favor of that. So the library interest.
And Rutherford's a great library.
I know exactly where it is.
People who work there. It's true.
Exactly where it is. I get it. Okay. Thank you very much. Keep the faith. Izzy Demorowski is with us. Izzy, good to see you.
Governor Murphy, thank you.
Are you on?
Yeah, it's my mic's a little lower. I'm a small business owner from Elizabeth, New Jersey. I own a pizzeria. I have a partner. I bought it when I was 25. Most of my employees are younger. They're usually in their mid-20s, late teens. A lot of my employees don't even have green cards or papers. I've been in business. March 1st will be 3 years. I'm still operating at a loss. There's weeks that my employees make more money than me, and that's fine. There's weeks that my employees call me and they tell me they're sick. And because of their circumstances, not everybody, you know, some people do, you know, they have their citizenship or whatever, but the ones that don't, it's very hard for them to kind of put their foot into anything. So I have a theory as a businessman, as a small business owner, that when you create a certain relationship with your employees, you know, paid sick leave isn't a law. But I was a firm believer in it before anybody even told me it, you know, because I have a food base. I have a food. I sell food. So when I have employees in there sneezing and coughing and their eyes are bloodshot and they have a fever, it doesn't look good. Not only that, you get everybody else sick. Everybody else gets sick. Everybody else has to go to the hospital. It's just it's a mess. It's a vicious cycle. Yep. So I remember one time specifically 2 years ago, one of my employees called me and she called me bawling, crying. She was like, "I really don't feel good. I need to take off, but I can't afford it." I said, "Take off for 2 days. I'll pay you." And it's not because, you know, I've been there. You know, I'm like I said, I'm operating at a loss. There's weeks my employees make more than me, and it's fine because it's the journey, you know. And I want them to care about not just my business, but me as an boss, because I want to care about them as employees, you know. Yep. I know it's a pizzeria, you know. I know it's not their final job, but while they're there, I want them to like their job, to appreciate their job, and to know that they have a boss that will be there for them. Amen. You know, because I've worked for people that were terrible bosses. They didn't care. They get paid horrible or whatever. I don't want that. I don't want people to experience the things I've experienced. So as a young businessman, I want to do whatever I can to keep that employer-employee relationship awesome, because the middle class is invested in this in our country, you know, more than any other country in the world. So if employees and employers don't get along the way they should, this country won't go far. So I really believe in having not only paid sick leave, but great relationship with your employees.
Really well said. And it's particularly good to hear from an employer, a small business owner with that passion. Two quick comments. Number one, certain communities in this state, and they are to be applauded, have earned sick leave. The challenge for us is to get it as a statewide reality. Secondly, we talked all the time, we still talk all the time about a stronger and fairer New Jersey. And there's an impression, again, the myth is that anything you do on fairness takes away from your strength. Yeah. The reality is the exact opposite, and you live that every day because you see your employees. You all do. If you have more money to spend, you will be a stronger, more active, deeper participant in the economy. And that contributes to growth, not just your own welfare.
And your employees trust you. When you build, like, Amen. The employees that work for me, even if I'm not there, they'll treat my store as if it's their own store because I understand. I'll feel their feelings. I've gone through what they've gone through. I'm raised from an immigrant Muslim family. I've been through it all. I've been through all kinds of ridicule, and it's not, we're in a really great country. For us not to take care of each other is horrible. Amen. It's terrible. There's no excuse. There's no point to be greedy. There's enough for everybody.
Amen to that. Thank you again, Izzy.
Thank you.
Clint, great to have you with us. Can we get you to weigh in on this for a few thoughts?
Absolutely. Izzy, absolutely taking care of one another. That's what it's all about. That's why family's so important. And Natalie, I'm a huge fan of the Bergen County Library System. Big fan. This issue is something that it's not new to me. I've read about it many times before. I know other states are going through the same issues. Personally, I need to further educate myself on what the benefits are going to be, and I truly believe there's going to be some great benefits, but I need to listen to everybody. I need to listen to all your stories and to also other business owner stories. But I think it's a good head start, and we're going in the right direction. That's really all I can say on this topic, but I do look forward to working with Mr. Scher, Mr. Sarlo, and you, Governor. Yeah.
Amen. In the Assembly, so far so good?
So far so good, yeah. You know, the State House is difficult to navigate, so I think I need a map.
I hadn't noticed that. Adriana Perez, honored to have you with us today.
Thank you, Governor. Good morning, the Governor, Mayor, elected officials. Thank you. My name is Adriana Perez. I'm a member of the Make the Road, New Jersey. I've been living here in the Passaic County for almost 30 years. And I'm here to give you a testimony on the importance of raising the minimum wage and the paid sick days. As growing up with my parents having a minimum wage, and that meant also that I had to start working at 12 also to help them with the bills, like at least buy my own school supplies, so I don't see them like worrying and struggling with that. I couldn't join extracurricular activities when I was in high school because I have to be working at a minimum wage and save money for my college tuition. It's really difficult because since I'm a DACA recipient, I don't get insurance, so the minimum wage would also help me save money if in case I get sick, and especially we don't get paid sick days at work. I work in the service industry, like yourself, Mr. Governor. I started early there. I read that you work there in the service industry, and it's difficult to get like when you're sick. You like the other restaurant owners was saying, you have to stay home. You don't want to get sick, the customers or anything, that you have to call in sick, and I don't get paid on that day. So if the salary was to be raised, that will be of great importance, and it will be benefit for not just myself in the service industry, but for everybody, especially parents, like my family. Somebody mentioned here that it's very important. That's why we will go out there to be able to provide our families with something. My mom and dad, they would always encourage me to go to college. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do right now. One of my goals is to finish my college degree, just graduate, and be able to help them for them to retire. Being able to support them, that will be one of my goals, finish college and starting a family. I just want to be able to provide for them. And of course, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity on behalf of my coworkers, the family members, and the members of the community that couldn't be here to voice their opinion, and thank you for your support there.
It's an honor to have you. How close are you to your dream of finishing college?
Just a couple of semesters.
A couple of semesters?
Yes, a couple of semesters, and that will definitely help. Try to save money since I couldn't use some of the scholarships that I received here in Passaic High School, so that will really help.
Great.
Yes.
God bless you. We heard CWA are in the House, Make the Road is in the House, New Jersey Citizen Action is in the House, New Jersey Working Families are in the House to put a particular name to those organizations and others, so thank you for being here. Angela Arellano is with us. It's an honor to have you, and I think you're going to also work
Muy
in
buenos
translation.
días, mi nombre es Ángela Arellano. Vivo en Passaic hace 24 años y soy miembro de Se Hace Camino New Jersey.
Good morning, my name is Ángela Arellano. I am a member of Make the Road New Jersey, and I have been living in Passaic for the last 24 years.
Yo soy madre de 2 hijos y abuela de 4 nietos.
I am a mother of 2 children, and I have 4 grandchildren.
Todos trabajamos y ganamos un poco más del mínimo.
We all work, and some of us earn a little bit more than the minimum.
Yo trabajo en una factoría hace 3 años y tengo los días de beneficios de enfermedad.
I have been working in a factory for over 3 years, and I do have paid sick days.
Mis hijos no lo tienen.
My children don't have it.
Si yo enfermo o mis nietos enferman, yo puedo quedarme a cuidarlos.
If I get sick or my grandchildren get sick, I can stay home and take care of them.
Si mis hijos, ellos enferman, tienen que tomar el día libre y aparte no les pagan.
If my children get sick and they have to stay home, they don't get paid for that.
Vivimos juntos para poder solventar la renta.
We all live together so we can pay for the rent.
A mi hija yo no le pude enviar al college y a mi hijo que está terminando la escuela me gustaría, porque me entristeció mucho que mi hija no pudo ir al college, no pudo terminar una carrera. Me gustaría enviar a mi hijo al college y poder solventar todo yo.
I couldn't afford to send my daughter to college, and it would be my dream to be able to send my high school son to college. It saddened me that I wasn't able to afford paying for college for my daughter. I want my son to have the opportunities.
Mi hijo es un hijo muy bueno, es un excelente estudiante. Para mí ese es el sueño grande. tiene que tener un futuro mejor que el mío.
I love my son. He's a great kid, and I would love him to have and to be able to obtain this dream and to be successful.
Para mí, tener una casa es un sueño solamente porque no nos va a alcanzar para pagarla.
For me, owning my own house is basically an unattainable dream.
Quiero agradecerles por todo su tiempo. Esperemos que nos ayuden con el mínimo, que nos aumenten el mínimo y que nos den los días de enfermedad.
I want to thank you for your time, and I really hope that the minimum wage gets raised and that we can all help each other.
Thank you very much. Very powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angela, and each and every one of you for telling your stories. I mean, it really shines a pretty stark light that this is not abstract. This is a reality that too many in this state are living with day in and day out, and we have to change it, and we will. I want to thank the 5 individuals plus an extraordinary translation who told their stories. I want to thank Senator Sarlo, Assemblyman Scher, Assemblyman Calabrese for being here today. And by being here, showing their conviction and support. And Mayor, to you, in this extraordinary community and your extraordinary team, many of whom are represented today, thank you very much for having us. Would love to ask you for the final word and blessing.
Thank you. You know, Angela, if I may address you in Spanish very quickly, tus palabras me impactaron mucho. Sincera y poderoso. Pero qué tragedia ese comentario que tú dijiste que es un sueño que tú no puedes obtener. What I said is, Angela, your words have impacted me deeply. They were powerful, they were sincere, they were genuine, but they were tragic. Your statement that you believe obtaining a home is not a dream that you can actually accomplish. You know, growing up as a son of immigrants, I heard about the American dream, which was that you work hard, and then you'll be able to succeed. You focus on your education, you do what's right, and we all have equal opportunities to have that piece of the American dream, home, and be able to raise our families. When I consider what this really is about, the governor's extremely courageous stance, he has said it wasn't so courageous considering what one has to make in order to have a true living wage and be able to prosper. But it is courageous, as Senator Sarlo mentioned. It's courageous to stick to your convictions and move forward and fight for individuals that can't fight for themselves. It's courageous to be a leader like Assemblyman Scher and Council President Scher, who pushed forward paid sick leave within the city of Passaic, along with the council member Saida Polanco, who was so instrumental in that, and Councilman Love and Councilman Garcia. I started by saying that when I dropped my kids off to school, I was looking at parents and considering that they'll be rushing to work, and I wondered, what do they make? What will be their salary? Will they be able to feed their kids? Are their kids food insecure? This term that we've coined to say those who may not know where their next meal comes from. And I go back to what is the American dream? The American dream is that you're supposed to work hard. Yes, we don't believe that someone who begins at an entry-level position should make hundreds of thousands of dollars in a utopic society. That'd be wonderful. We understand that you have to struggle. So there should be a living wage, but not a wage that leaves it impossible to feed your children. Not a wage that makes you wonder whether the lights are going to be turned on. Again, as a child of immigrant parents, I know what it's like to come home and not have electricity. I know what it's like to open up a refrigerator and then close it and then come back a few minutes later with hope against all reason that somehow food will magically appear back in the refrigerator, and open it up multiple times and find out that there's no food. And so I get so excited and enthusiastic when I see leaders like the President of the Board of Education, Salim Patel, who opens up a food pantry for those who are in need in our city. But when you consider the impact of raising the minimum wage, the fact that it will lower turnaround in terms of employees and keep employee retention, that it will help people get off of government assistance because now they can afford to pay for their children to go to school and to feed them. When you consider the positive impact that it will have on a community, when you consider that someone like Angela can go from today saying, I can't own a home, it's not even a dream I'll consider, to tomorrow, you know what? I can own a home, and my children can take off if they're sick, and that kind of peace of mind, that kind of compassion is what we need in Trenton. Governor, thank you so much for being a voice for so many who, prior to you taking office, may have felt that they didn't have a voice. Thank you for honoring our city with this conversation and this topic. Thank you so much. And if I may, I want to do justice, and I'll be quick on this. There are those who ask, what happens if you raise it to $15 an hour? What happens to businesses and small businesses and the impact that it will have, the adverse effect possibly? You know, that's a fair point, and that's for the legislators in the state. But I love the words that you said, I think verbatim. What's the magic behind the 860 now? What's the magic behind 15? I can tell you what's behind your motive that's obvious. Compassion, human caring. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Again, thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Izzy? Yeah, want to do it outside? Yeah. We'll ask Ed when he can do something. Maybe we'll do it here.